In January 2010, Marjah was a town caught in the grip of insurgent control. Under Taliban rule, bazaars were nearly empty. Residents had no freedom of movement, and the economy was a narcotics-producing machine. Children weren't even allowed to go to school.
Marjah is extraordinarily important because a year ago it was the Taliban capital of Helmand province. It was a completely controlled Taliban area in which they controlled the life of the people who lived there, and an area which they swore they would be for eternity.
On February 13, 2010, Afghan and coalition forces launched Operation Mushtarak. The aim was to clear Marjah of its insurgent stronghold.
The real attack started in February. The strategy within Marjah, we shifted a bit in the early part of the summer. And we began to push out of Marjah to where the enemy bedded down, where he rested. And we didn't give him the ability to do that.
This strategy drove the enemy out of the district center, but there was still a need for a local security force.
In June, the locals in Marjah rejected the idea of local police. They had the reputation of being thugs and criminals. The elders there wanted no part of them.
Through a series of meetings with local elders, coalition leaders eventually convinced the elders to accept the idea of local law enforcement.
Now there's over 300 policemen on duty within the town of Marjah. Over 100 of those men are local boys, recruited from the Marjah families. All of that added, I think, to a sense of security and to a commitment by the people of Marjah to their own security.
With a newfound sense of security and freedom of movement, the people of Marjah began to send their children to school, despite the threats from the Taliban.
It's phenomenal growth in Marjah, which it's just not even the same district that I walked in, 9 months ago. And it was great to see. I mean, the little girls and their faces and their smiles, and not running around in the bazaars, not in the fields, but in schools.
The success of Marjah is an example for other communities to emulate in Helmand province.
We can now take the village elders, point down the river and say, take a look at the solid accomplishments of the government of Afghanistan. Take a look at Marjah. A year ago, it was the dregs of the earth. Now it's a really nice place to live.
Reporting from Camp Leatherneck, Afghanistan, I'm Staff Sergeant Phil Grondin.